Hello, I'm Sergeant First Class Jeremiah Richardson, and here's a look at what's inside this edition of Army Reserve Today. A durable force. An Army Reserve soldier refines his skills in his garage.
There's no end to the number of skills that we can bring to bear to the fight as a reserve component.
A gun crew unites. An Army Reserve gun crew learns the value of teamwork at Operation Cold Steel 3.
I'm just trying to get the gunner in a spot so he can take the right shot.
We all have to believe that we're here to save lives in the future.
A massive response. We take a look at how the Army Reserve trains its medical soldiers for mass casualty situations. In the family, a myriad of circumstances results in a mother and daughter deploying together.
I was getting ready to deploy. There was really no indication that she would be deploying with us.
These stories and more ahead on this edition of Army Reserve Today. Hello, and welcome to Army Reserve Today. I'm Sergeant First Class Jeremiah Richardson. Thanks for joining us. We begin with our top story. Captain Jonathan Nagel is an Army Reserve Operations Officer out of the 336th Military Police Battalion. As a civilian, he's a part-time blacksmith who compares his skills as a soldier to his efforts in metalworking. Recently, Master Sergeant Michel Serret from the 200th Military Police Command spent some time with him to find out what gives him such inspiration.
It seems like these days, everything we buy or own is just a disposable item. You know, you get a little nick on a cell phone or you get a little scratch here and there and poof, gone. Throw it away, go buy a new one. That's not how I was raised, and I feel like we need to get back to a more durable society, I guess. I remember being a kid and going to fairs and festivals growing up in the Midwest and being drawn to the sights and sounds of the blacksmiths there. The coal burning, the hammers on the anvils and the steel and grinding and all that, just the very kind of an industrial kind of feel to it. The thing that really draws me is you take this piece of steel, this piece of iron or metal that when cold is extremely hard and immovable. You heat it up, you apply pressure with a hammer or some other tool, and you just bend it to your will. You make it what you want it to be. You turn it into a blade that is sharp, it's functional, it's tough, it's resilient. And you look at that in terms of what we do in the military in basic training. We take kids and young people out of maybe high school or just in college, and through very intense and very extreme training and hard circumstances, we turn them into sharp, strong, and determined soldiers that can go out and fight and win wars. You've got to be next to those dangerous things. I mean, you're working with 1200 degree steel, working with grinders that can take your knuckle off, or a forge press that can, lop your hand off if you're not careful. It's just like being in the military, where we are training to be in these dangerous areas, to close and defeat our enemies, right? I mean, that's what we do. It is an honor to be able to serve our country and to be able to defend those that we love and care about. There's no end to the number of skills that we can bring to bear to the fight as a reserve component. Every hammer's got its own purpose and its own way of helping you as a blacksmith reach your goal. Just like in the Army, we've got several different MOSs out there that all work to accomplish the same mission. You can't successfully accomplish a mission in the Army if you only have one MOS. Infantry can't do it all, military police can't do it all. You don't have the right people, have the grit, have the desire to win. All that technology is going to be for naught. This craft is very time consuming, it's very difficult. I mean, blood, sweat, and tears going to every item that comes out of my shop and every other blacksmith or bladesmith shop. That's what I try to instill in my work as an Army Reserve soldier, is the work we put in now if we do it right, is going to echo through the generations. Our kids will benefit from it. Our grandkids will benefit from it. That's what the Army Reserve is. It's people coming together, taking time away from their civilian jobs or family lives, putting the uniform on, and helping the country, succeed and win its battles.
The U.S. Army Reserve's Operation Cold Steel trains soldiers how to master crew-served weapons. Throughout the operation, soldiers also learn how to fight more effectively as gun crew teams. One such team at Cold Steel 3 walks us through their experience.
I am Sergeant Quantavious Baker. Today, I will be your driver for today's gun crew for our Crusoe Mannery Gunnery.
Range 65 personnel, be advised, the range is hot. I say again, the range is hot. Over.
I'm just trying to get the gunner in a spot so he can take the right shot.
I'm Sergeant Waylon Ooh, out of the 773rd Transportation Company out of Queens, New York. And today I will be the gunner inside the Humvee. I rely on both the vehicle commander and the driver to point out targets to me if I don't see them.
I'm Sergeant First Class Donato Liberto. This last iteration, I was the VC, the vehicle commander, inside the vehicle going downrange. When you have your target identification and your gunner is having difficulties, it's imperative to get them on target as soon as possible.
You're short! One target, frame up! Fire to dust! Hit! Target! Cease fire! Cease fire!
Scouts report multiple moving enemy troops in your sector. Defend and report.
I love my job. I love being in the Army. Just to get here, I rely on the support of my employer so I can remain capable and combat ready.
So we can answer our nation's call.
On December 8, 2018, Army Reserve soldiers from the 452nd Combat Support Hospital trudged through ice and snow at Fort McCoy, Wisconsin as part of extreme weather training.
All right.
Staff Sergeant Tarek Eddy at the NCO Academy. I'm the medic there. Past 2 weeks we've been doing cold weather operations. They've taught us how to basically survive out in the wilderness if you have to move tactically and do missions and not letting the weather get in your way. They taught us how to make improvised shelters. They taught us how to do traps and snares to catch food if you run low on food, how to make filters for water, how to boil snow, just things that if problems arise while you're on mission, how to surpass it.
It was such a weird piece because it's...
I just wanted to challenge myself, give myself a nice good challenge. I haven't done anything like this before in my military career. It's good to get a change of pace, change of scenery, because I work in an aid station, so it was good to get out in the field and do some.
All right, you feel the difference from when you first came out of the water till now? That's what we're looking for. We're looking for that to wear off, where you kind of regain your function there, all right?
I think everybody should come try the course. I think it's a great time. It's definitely a change of pace. The most valuable takeaway from the experience is always think outside the box. They always teach you a way, but it's not the way. And if you can make it work and you get the job done, then it's good to go.
Don't go away. Army Reserve Today will be right back.
Todd's a great guy. I mean, look at him. What a sweetheart. Attaboy. Wait, Todd, what are you doing? How totally selfish and un-Todd-like of you. Come on, Todd. Come on, man.
All right, let's get ready for this convoy. My name is Sergeant Acosta with the U.S. Army Reserve. Ready? 1, 2. The day I told my mom that I was going to join the U.S. Army Reserve, she said, absolutely not. My mom did a 180, I guess, when she started seeing the results. Once I came back from training, she saw that I was very disciplined. I was more proactive. She loves everything that it has done for me and my family.
The opportunities that you've been given, the training.
I knew nothing about computers.
Right.
Until I joined the U.S. Army
like,
Reserve.
IT, are you sure?
Like I told you, I was like, I'm gonna go to college and I'm not gonna have any debt, unlike you.
Thanks.
I went to college and I got a bachelor's in computer information systems. That degree, along with my Army background, allowed me to actually get the civilian job that I really, really wanted. I'm a systems engineer for a company. I work regular 8 hours, and then I have 1 weekend a month. You know, I'm a soldier. My regular life is my family. I'm home and I'm living a normal life. And then I put on a uniform and it's family again. My role as a team lead for my soldiers is to educate them. You see people's potential and you kind of push them. I've become a leader being in the U.S. Army Reserve. My determination has grown and grown.
We did, in fact, nominate her as one of our top soldiers. I felt confident that the civilian side could absolutely benefit from training on the military side.
I've had support from my commander, my recruiter, my fellow battle buddies. The best backup support that I can have to actually achieving my dream job. They're very supportive of my family. I'm a mom, I'm a soldier, a daughter, a sister, a friend.
Her accomplishments just rubs off for me, so it pushes me to push myself forward. Children have superheroes, and I think she's my hero, you know?
The U.S. Army Reserve offers a lot. Health coverage, you know, you get loan repayment. Was able to get my degree and not have any debt. When I look at it overall, I realize that they gave me a lot more than that.
Welcome back. Medical soldiers must be trained for the possibility of intense high-casualty situations. The Army Reserve uniquely equips their soldiers by hosting mass casualty exercises at Fort Hunter Liggett, California, giving service members hands-on experience. Sergeant Brandon Keyes explains the opportunities and challenges of such an exercise.
It's absolutely chaotic. In the ER world, we like to call it organized chaos because you have no idea what's coming in.
Medical emergencies can be unpredictable and hectic. This is why Army medical soldiers from various units are taking part in a mass casualty exercise at Fort Hunter Liggett, California. As the training scenario evolves, soldiers will make tough decisions under pressure. Those quick choices will determine what medical treatment their patients will receive next.
And what we're trying to do is just ensure that it's controlled, that we're not missing any important injuries that may be life-threatening. And then as we go forward, ensuring that they get to that next level of care.
Whenever you guys are ready.
We have active and reserve soldiers, we have civilians, so there are a lot of different individuals working together.
Relying on fellow medical personnel to assist when necessary is crucial to performance and the care and well-being of their patients.
You have to rely on people who don't work in your section to come and help you to do the job that you do every day, and you have to teach them on the fly, so it's very chaotic. There's a lot of moving pieces, there's a lot of different people that come in and want to help, and maybe you have to kind of guide them to the right way to be the most helpful. We all have to believe that we're here to save lives in the future, so that if in reality we have to up and deploy a hospital of this size on the dime in 72 hours, that we're going to go there and we're going to have the right supplies, equipment, and personnel that we need to save lives.
I'm Army Sergeant Brandon Keyes, Fort Hunter Liggett, California.
It's no mystery that the Army Reserve provides a path for young people to make their lives better. Soldiers who join come from all different demographic backgrounds and all corners of the country. For Captain Marcellus Chambers of the 335th Signal Command, his hometown experiences were vital for his success.
I'm Captain Marcellus Chambers. I'm from the south side of Chicago, and I'm a soldier in the United States Army. I lived the majority of my life in the Washington Park and Westwood Lawn neighborhoods. I attended Hyde Park Academy. My community helped raise me. As an individual growing up on the south side, I had to walk a fine line of understanding the culture and the environment that I was living in, and being able to navigate the hazards and the opportunities on the south side of Chicago. I knew growing up that my parents will only be able to provide me so much. And fortunately, the Army Reserves was able to fund my college education. I graduated eventually with a bachelor's degree and a master's degree with zero debt. We Chicagoans develop a sixth sense, and that particular sense, I believe, has helped me in my service in Iraq, on missions in Romania, developing relationships while serving in Sri Lanka, or any other place I've been in the world or the United States. Chicago itself shaped me into the person that I am with everything it had to offer, both good and bad. And I brought that skill set to the Army. And although the Army isn't perfect, it's about as close to utopia I have ever been. I would charge any young person who is at a crossroad or not to definitely look at the Army and the Army Reserve as an option. There are hundreds of jobs in the Army Reserve that fit you. One of those jobs fits you, that you can excel in. And not only can you be successful and be a part of something that's bigger than yourself, but you can also help an organization that represents the country.
Orlando, Florida hosted its annual Veterans Day Parade on November 10th amidst sunshines and smiles. Their tradition of honoring veterans with a parade on Veterans Day is relatively new, not even spanning more than 2 decades. Yet it lacks none of the pomp and enthusiasm one would expect from such an event. Staff Sergeant John Carkeet of the 143rd Expeditionary Sustainment Command has more.
Downtown Orlando reached a patriotic fever pitch as cheering crowds and popular music complemented colorful floats and fluttering flags during the city's 19th annual Veterans Day Parade, conducted November 10, 2018.
Veterans Day means to me a day of celebration and appreciation for the soldiers that served before me, that still continue to serve alongside me, and the ones that paid the ultimate price for our country.
Among the dozens of school bands, first responder units, and veteran organizations marched more than 50 soldiers from the 143rd Expeditionary Sustainment Command, a U.S. Army Reserve Logistics Command comprising more than 10,000 soldiers and headquartered near the heart of Orlando.
I thought it was important for us to be a part of this. I mean, we are a part of the Orlando community, so I thought it was a great opportunity for us to come out and to show some camaraderie.
The ones that are serving get to be around each other, but as far as civilians being able to see that we can come together and do something in a community.
The unseasonably warm temperature matched the warm reception given to the soldiers from participants and attendees alike.
It means a lot to me because it does give respect to the individuals who had chosen. They didn't force to come to the military, they have chosen to volunteer into the military service.
So being a part of the military is an honor. It's a privilege to be able to serve in the military, and just a chance to be able to be recognized for it is always appreciated.
The parade gained greater significance as the festivities marked the centennial anniversary of Armistice Day, the date that marked the end of the First World War and laid the inspirational foundation for America to create a national holiday dedicated to veterans from every war.
Every year it becomes more and more significant. Having 100 years of recognition is outstanding.
Because we didn't always recognize our veterans the way that we should. That's pretty meaningful that we got it right, and now we've done it for 100 years.
Although high praise rightfully belonged to the men and women in uniform, many soldiers marching that day expressed their pride and gratitude to their friends and loved ones on the home front.
The sacrifice of the soldier is actually not the main priority of this. It's the sacrifice of the families. They're serving just as much, if not more.
Just cheer me on, because this is my first time. You know how nervous I am. Thank you for my daughter for being here, because without family, we can't do it.
I feel like we're one team. To me, we're not separate. We're all together. You know, whether we're on the front lines, whether we're on the ships, whether we're, you know, on ground, whatever it is, whether we're in the foxhole, we're still in the foxhole together.
Reporting for the 143rd Expeditionary Sustainment Command in Orlando, Florida, I'm Army Staff Sergeant John Carkeet.
Please stay with us. Army Reserve Today will be right back.
On any given day, over 6.5 million Americans are in bed with back pain, so it's important to use proper lifting techniques to help avoid these injuries. Use the overhead lift to place objects on an overhead shelf. Be careful, since overhead lifts put you at an increased risk for muscle strain. It can be difficult to maintain your balance. This lift should be avoided whenever possible. Hold the object close to your body. Keep your feet shoulder-width apart with one foot slightly ahead of the other. Prepare for the lift by looking forward. Raise the object to the shelf height by using the arm and shoulder muscles. Keep the object close to your body and breathe out as you lift. As you reach the shelf, shift your weight from the back foot to the forward foot. Remember to keep your back straight. When the load reaches the shelf, push the object onto the shelf. Be safe. Be smart. Always use proper lifting technique to avoid injury.
This U.S. Army Reserve application allows you to stay connected, informed, engaged, and on top of your agenda. With it, you can follow the news and share your favorite articles with other members. It's now much easier to join conversations and be part of a wide range of communities. You can also create your own group and add members. Locate nearby members on the map and find support services close to you. Check into locations to receive relevant information, training schedules, and also mark yourself as safe in emergency situations. Easily keep track of your fitness levels with our Army Physical Fitness Test. Challenge yourself and compete against other members in multidiscipline sports. Explore extensive resources at your fingertips.
Welcome back. Many do not know that the Army Reserve maintains units outside of the United States. We have reserve centers in places such as Saipan, Puerto Rico, and Germany. It could be a challenge for our citizen soldiers to maintain the same standards as their stateside brethren. But as Specialist Daisy Zimmer points out, the soldiers of the 361st Civil Affairs Brigade are up to the task.
U.S. Army Reserve soldiers with headquarters in Headquarters Company, 361st Civil Affairs Brigade, Kaiserslautern, Germany, trained on Level 1 warrior skills during a 4-day battle assembly January 10th through 13th. The soldiers conquered several tasks, starting with land navigation.
It provides the readiness of the soldiers that we could be called upon to go anywhere, Afghanistan, deploy anywhere. So this readiness is very important for the unit, for the 361st Civil Affairs. It's going great.
The soldiers then donned, sealed, and tested their M40 protective masks. Soldiers must be confident and familiar with their personal protective equipment in the event of a chemical attack. The third task was to qualify on the M9 pistol and M4 carbine. Weapons qualification is an annual requirement to stay capable, combat ready, and lethal.
Many Army Reserve soldiers use their civilian skills to enhance their effectiveness in the military. They in turn take that military experience back to their workplaces, where they provide much needed insight and leadership. Army Reserve Staff Sergeant Jacob Lapin has dedicated his life to serving others by finding that balance.
Not all heroes wear capes, but one hero deployed to Nigerian Air Base 201, Niger, does wear two uniforms. While at home, Army Staff Sergeant Jacob Lapin serves in the New York City Fire Department. He has worn multiple hats since 2000, starting as an emergency medical technician, promoting to firefighter, and is now a fire investigator. Overseas, he serves as a U.S. Army Civil Affairs soldier, executing humanitarian missions in Agadez, Niger.
On every deployment, every unit I've been a part of, I try to bring a little bit of the fire department to the United States military, and I try to bring the United States military to the fire department. Took a leave of absence from the fire department to go to basic training and advanced individual training. When I came back, it was 10 days after 9/11 occurred. Came back to a forever changed department. From there, going back to work, we would soon start to be deployed as reservists more than ever before. While assigned to Engine 240 in Brooklyn, I would then end up being deployed 3 times. I felt like I was representing the New York City Fire Department, my family, my reserve unit, everywhere I went.
Sergeant Lapin has repaired schools, donated supplies, sponsored training programs, and even provided solar energy to the Agadez community, helping to amplify U.S. and Nigerian relations.
From the children to the adults, everybody's been excellent to us, great partners. Being here right now, just seeing everything start up and knowing that it's going to continue to be a great partnership within the city, I'm very excited to be a part of it.
The presence of he and his team has been widely felt throughout the region, and his contributions have helped countless people with education and development. So never fear, when service is needed, in one uniform or another, you can always count on Sergeant Lapin.
Doesn't matter whether you're from New York or Agadez, Niger, you know, a smiling face makes me smile.
The Army Reserve includes many multi-generational families that have served throughout its history. Yet it's relatively rare that parents and children have the opportunity to serve together. It's even more rare that they'd be able to deploy together to a combat zone. Yet for the Van Horn family, that's exactly what happened.
So she was at basic training in AIT and I was getting ready to deploy. There was really no indication that she would be deploying with us. It wasn't until 3 weeks before we deployed that there was a need to have pharmacy techs fill some vacant slots that we had. So they reached out to my daughter while she was at AIT.
For me, I was thinking, my brother just got back. It's my turn. Like, that's the whole reason I joined. I've always wanted to serve since I was little. So when I got that call, like, hey, do you want to come? And it's like, absolutely. There is no questioning this. So for me, it was very exciting, but also very nerve-wracking because I haven't been out of the States, and being away from my family, I mean, that's one of the most important things to me is my family. So being away from them, it was a little scary. But knowing I had my mom here, my best friend, it made it a lot easier. We do get to spend a lot of time together. I think we eat lunch together almost every day, and that's kind of our time to, you know, be mother-daughter and not, you know, ma'am in private.
If you're looking for a way to stay up to date on all things Army Reserve, keep an eye out for our new Double Eagle app that will launch later this year. And that will do it for this edition of Army Reserve Today. For more information about the U.S. Army Reserve, check us out online at www.usar.army.mil, friend us on Facebook, or follow us on Twitter at U.S. Army Reserve. From Fort Bragg, North Carolina, and the U.S. Army Reserve Command, I'm Sergeant First Class Jeremiah Richardson. Thanks for watching.